It is now time to introduce our speaker for this ceremony. This year, a group including myself, Dr. Lind, our Chief Academic Officer, and a group of faculty members selected a student from each of our ceremonies to be our speaker. I'm pleased to introduce our speaker for this ceremony, Brenda Wipf. Brenda is from here in South Dakota and is earning her Bachelor of Arts degree in Communication Studies and Theater. I would encourage you to reference her full biography listed in our program. Graduates and guests, please welcome to the stage Brenda Wipf.
Thank you, President Bradfield. We made it. We did something that no other class before us has done. We spent the last full academic year living in a global pandemic, and we survived. We came through to the other side stronger than when we started, ready to take on whatever life throws at us as soon as we walk out of these doors, because it's already thrown us a lot. We know more about Zoom than we would care to admit, and have even mastered matching our masks to our outfits. But none of that defines us or the fact that we are graduating today. Graduation is not defined by a cap, a gown, a sheet of paper, or a mask. It's defined by the commitment and courage it takes to move forward to bigger and better things. We have had the opportunity to learn and grow through our time at USF. We were all here for 1 year or 4. The University of Sioux Falls has been the place where we have grown into the people that we are today. When I came in 4 years ago, I was scared. I was naive, and I didn't know my worth in my craft or as a person. Through the friendships that I have made and the opportunities that I have been given, I can confidently say that I am not the person that first stepped onto campus in 2017. That didn't come without a lot of work. The amount of tears that the bathroom across from Meredith Auditorium has seen is far more than I would like to admit. But it is through those tough times and through the work that I have learned. I have learned to say no when I know I already have way too much on my plate and someone asks me to jump on a project. I've become a lot better about asking for help when I need it, because I would not have made it through some of my lowest moments without the support of my amazing friends and professors. I have learned to fail, and once I've done so, pick myself back up again. My professor failed me on March 3rd, 2021. He failed me in a class I was just taking for fun, Business of Theater. Now, before I continue, I need to give an explanation of what this class is. Business of Theater is a class that turned into learning every aspect of theater that 4 seniors and 1 junior wanted to learn before the seniors graduated. We're talking lighting, stage management, voiceover work, money. Honestly, the list is quite extensive. The class started with all 5 of us taking the Enneagram to learn why we do what we do, followed by a market presentation about, realistically, what life could look like after graduation. This is a project that I will never forget as long as I live, and not just because my friends won't let me live it down. He failed me. Not only did he fail me, but when asked what grade I deserve on the project, the class all gave me a D- or lower, which, by the way, is failing in a class within your major. Before I keep bashing my friends, let me give you the whole story. I did my presentation on moving to Vallejo, California. Why Vallejo? I am glad you asked. Because it's outside of San Francisco, and who doesn't love San Francisco? Did I use a lot of sarcasm in my presentation? Yes. Did I use any real information that could be even remotely helpful if I were to actually move there? No. Was any portion of the presentation even remotely realistic? No. But did I include everything on that rubric for that presentation? Yes. So why did he fail me? I asked myself that until May 6th, when I had to give my redo presentation. That's right, he made me redo it. In fact, he turned the sheet of paper that he gave me an F on into a voucher to redo it. I still have it to this day. At first, I saw the bit of humor in it, but as I was creating my second presentation, I didn't see that anymore. I had so much on my plate, including writing this speech, that doing a redo presentation was the last thing that I wanted to do. But I swallowed my pride and I did the presentation. I went all out. We're talking diagrams, photos, transitions, the works. I ended the presentation with the same diagram that I ended the first one. The probability of actually doing it on a scale of 1 to 10. My first presentation was at a 2, definitely not doing it. My final was a 10. It was my life. What I learned through this process was not about what I need to do immediately following graduation, where I'll live, my job, what kind of insurance I'll need. I already had all of that figured out. What I did learn is the importance of failing. I would be lying if I said at the beginning of the semester that I did not feel invincible. I'm not proud of it, but I did. I had been given a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity alongside 4 other seniors to put our own shows in Meredith Auditorium as part of the Senior Show series. I had a dream creative team consisting of Joe Hyatt, Apollonia Davalos, and Josh Wary. I had a phenomenal cast, rehearsals were amazing, everything was going well. Too well. And I let my ego get the best of me. Then he failed me. I tried to laugh it off at first, but deep down it honestly hurt. It was a stupid, pretty much meaningless project in the grand scheme of things, but it ate away at me. A month or so later, during show week of my show, we had a really bad rehearsal, an absolute train wreck. And those moments following rehearsal, all I could think back to was a feeling of getting that F and never wanting that feeling again, yet here it was. My show ended up being successful, thank goodness. Then came May 6th, when I begrudgingly gave my redo presentation. This time, though, things were different. Instead of sitting in that failure defeated, I rose above it and did not let it define me. This time, when asked what grade I deserved, my class all passed me, and so did the professor. It's not about the failures that we have, and I can guarantee we are all going to fail or come short at some point. It's about what we do with that lesson that defines the experience. A wise man once told me on April 19th, 2021, there is no supposed to. There is only knowledge, and then you make a decision. Joe Obermuller, Associate Professor of Theater, Theater Program Director. Granted, the context of this quote was when I asked whether I was supposed to move all of my money from my checking account to my savings account in my Business of Theater class, but I think that this still applies. Yes, Joe O is the same professor that failed me. He's a wise guy. There is this expectation that we are supposed to have life figured out. We are supposed to have a job in our field upon graduating. Our family wants to know what our plans are. Our dentist asks what we plan to do with that degree. My degree's in communication studies and theater, so I'm sure that you can all guess how many times I have gotten that question. The list goes on and on. There is no supposed to. There's only knowledge, and then you make a decision. We have gained the knowledge we need to make decisions through our time and experiences at the University of Sioux Falls. Now it's time that we make that decision. Speaking of Financial Week in my Business of Theater class, on our final day of Financial Week, we had a guest speaker, Ryan Kahns. He asked us a question that will always stick with me. He asked us, how are you going to spend your dash? You may be wondering what that means. Well, we have the number before the dash filled in. It's our birthday. Then there's a dash, and then there's our death date. That dash is our life and how we choose to spend it. We can spend it running away from God or chasing the next thing that we believe we are supposed to do, or we can lean in and trust God. We can take the knowledge that we have and make a decision and accomplish our biggest dreams. So, fellow graduates, the question that I will leave you with is, how are you going to spend your dash? So with that, I am Brenda Wipf, and I am checking out with gratitude for the last 4 years of amazing friendships, connections, and memories. The impact that USF has had on my life is immeasurable. Those who have stood beside my side have seen me at my lowest of lows and pulled me out, reminding me of my worth, and you were there for me. You have mourned with me, celebrated with me, and have become my family. I'm checking out with hope for the future, whatever that might hold. Hope that we will all be okay. I'm also checking out with peace, a peace that only God can give. Finally, I'm checking out with love. Love for every person in this space. Love for myself, my family, my friends, and that cap that just fell off. And with that, I'm out.
On behalf of a very grateful USF community, our families and friends, thank you, Brenda, for a wonderful message. I somehow suspect that your story of failing will not ever leave you, and I'm sure you'll overcome most anything you want to overcome in life. We do have a gift for you before you depart. This is not an easy task to step before your peers and an audience, so thank you so very much for sharing your heart with us.